So welcome everybody. This is our Healthy Hormone Happy Hour, Hormone Q&A. I'm Dr. Michelle Sands. If you're new here, welcome. I try to do one of these Q&As, informal, no sales pitch, just to serve the women in my community. Every other week, if you're watching the replay, don't worry, you can ask questions in the comments below the video, and we do read every single one of them. So how this is going to work is I'm going to go ahead and answer as many questions as possible. So before we get into your questions, I do want to cover a topic that it's kind of top of mind. I've gotten a lot of questions about it in my DMs on social, also emailed in to our support at Glow Natural Wellness. Questions about this concept of what should your vagina smell? What's normal? What's not, when is it a problem? And what kind of sparked this was last week, Kourtney Kardashian of the Kardashians, she has, I guess, a vitamin line, and she released a new gummy vitamin that is supposedly for vaginal health, but she's marketing it to improve the smell and the taste of your vagina to make it smell and taste like a sweet treat. So that kind of made a lot of doctors, my colleagues, gynecologists, myself, really point a finger and say, hey, let's not try to make our vaginas taste and smell like a sweet treat. Let's let them smell like a vagina. And what should a vagina smell like is the question that a lot of people have, because a lot of the marketing, even from the 70s or maybe it's the 80s, if you remember, there was a commercial and it was like a girl and her mom, and she'd say, hey, mom, you ever get that not so fresh feeling? And it would be a commercial for a scented vaginal cleanser douche so that women are supposed to make their vaginas smell like flowers. And that's not exactly what they're supposed to smell like. If you go to any drugstore, there's no shortage of products that make you smell like a flower and make you smell like honeysuckle and all these kind of things, which none of that stuff is good. Actually, all of these scented products that are designed to change the smell of your vaginal microbiome, your vulva, the whole vaginal area, they're actually dangerous. They can create bacterial vaginosis, which is an infection or a yeast infection, or all types of problems, itching, burning, and abnormal discharge, a lot of different issues that can happen down in that area. So what's going on down there? So the truth is your vagina is home to billions of bacteria. You have a vaginal microbiome, just like you guys know about your gut microbiome and how there's this mix of different bacteria and you need to have different species there to make things work properly. And so this bacteria makeup, it helps to regulate your pH balance. It helps to protect you from bad bacterial overgrowth. It helps to do a lot of these important functions. And so sometimes your microbiome in your vagina will change during different times of the month. So if you're still menstruating, you might have a variation smell right before or right after or during your menstrual cycle. Different stresses in your life, changes to the types of clothes you're wearing and whether you're working out or not working out. These can all change the scent of your vagina. And the groin area, your labia majora, the outside of what we call the vagina, that's actually the vulva. This is home to many sweat glands. And so just like your armpits have sweat glands, your vulva, the whole vaginal area, has sweat glands. So if you're working out or you're in the hot weather, you're going to have sweat come out of these glands, and it's going to mix with the bacteria, and it can cause a body odor just like any other area. And there's nothing dangerous about that. It's very normal. We just need to maybe switch out our clothing, shower, wash, but we don't need to wash the inside of our vaginas because those are self-cleaning. So that brings me to the topic. Let's give you a medically accurate guide of what vaginal odor should be. So we have a few different scents that are normal. So you might have a tangy or fermented type smell, like an IPA. If you've ever had an Indian pale ale, a sour beer, or like a sourdough bread smell, this is normal. This is that good bacteria that keeps our vagina healthy called lactobacillus. That is absolutely normal. The reasons for this odor is because the pH of a healthy vagina is supposed to be slightly acidic. So it's normally normal pH for women who are still menstruating is going to be somewhere between 4 and 4.5. So it's slightly on the acidic level. If you've gone through menopause, you might be a little over 4.5 up to 4.8. And it's because of this, basically, as you go through menopause and you lose estrogen, you have less of this lactobacillus bacteria that keeps your vagina acidic. And it also protects us from urinary tract infections, which is why a lot of times we'll recommend to women who have been through menopause to use a vaginal moisturizer with estrogen, because that's going to help the growth of that lactobacillus species and protect you by lowering your pH and keeping that bad bacteria from growing, both in your vagina and your urethra and your bladder and all of the whole pelvic floor area. Tangy, fermented odor, absolutely normal. We want that. Another odor is like a metallic smell, like copper. And this is very normal. It's nothing to worry about. Typically, it's going to happen around or after your menstrual cycle, because the blood from your period, as the tissues are shed, it can actually travel through your vaginal canal and create that kind of metallic scent. And then also sometimes vigorous sex or sex when you have vaginal dryness can cause some little micro tears and cuts in the vagina canal. And so preventing this by using lube or a vaginal moisturizer or a low dose vaginal estrogen, this can help to prevent those little tiny cuts and scrapes and irritation, but that smell is completely normal. Another smell that you might see is like a sweet, like molasses type smell. Super sweet. This can be due to a little bit of bacteria infection. If it's very sweet smelling, it could be a little bit of a yeast infection, but a tiny bit on the sweet side, not like cookie sweet, but a little like molasses sweet. That's completely normal. That's just some changes in your bacteria again. Now, another smell that you might notice that can or can't be a problem, it might be a problem, but it might not be a problem, is like a kind of an ammonia smell or like a cleaning product smell. And this can be due to urinary incontinence. So if you have a buildup of urine around your vulva or in your underwear even, then it can have this smell like a little bit of ammonia, and that's a sign of dehydration. So not necessarily something wrong with your vagina, but a sign that you should be drinking more water, and that maybe some pelvic floor exercises or some low dose vaginal estrogen can help with the urinary incontinence. However, also a chemical smell can also be a sign of bacterial vaginosis, which is a very common bacterial infection. So those are the chemical odor smell. And then if you have a BO or herbal earthy scent, totally normal. That's just you. That's just your sweat glands mixing with the normal bacteria on your skin. So no need to stress about that. It's just a normal body odor smell. Also, sometimes after sex, you might have a different smell to your vagina, and that's because of semen makes your vagina more alkaline as opposed to acidic, so that can change the smell as well. Now, the bad smells are going to be like fish that's gone bad, not fresh fish. Fish should not smell like anything, but like a decomposing, left out type fish. This can be a sign of an STD. There's a compound that is called trimethylamine. And this is commonly found in sexually transmitted diseases, bacterial infections, and that's what causes that odor. So we definitely want to see the gynecologist. We want to see what's going on. And a lot of times this can be cured with antibiotics or treatment. And then the other kind of rotten smell, this might be more common for women who are still menstruating, is sometimes if there's an off smell and you don't know what it is. I've known many accounts of women who forgot a tampon and it just stays in there, and that can start to smell. Not dangerous. You can either have it removed at the gynecologist's office or you can remove it yourself, but that's another smell. It's like a rotten smell that you don't want. So like I said, super sweet, can be a sign of a yeast infection. Really bad fish smell, definitely bacterial vaginosis, sexually transmitted disease. Rotten odor could be a leftover tampon or something going on there, but all the other smells completely normal. Vaginas are supposed to smell like vaginas. They're not supposed to smell like flowers or cupcakes or any of these things that we say that, I don't know, celebrities think that we're supposed to smell. I have a whole video on Kourtney Kardashian's marketing her product, what's good about it, what's bad about it, and my take on it, and then what I think you should do instead. That's on my YouTube channel. Awesome. All right, I'm going to get to your questions now. We have quite a few questions, so I'm going to get to those, but hopefully that made sense. Let me know if you guys understand what I'm talking about. Normal smells. So let's teach our children, our grandchildren. Let's teach girls that we are not supposed to be like these plastic flowers, that we are humans and our body should smell like humans. That's what I really want to teach and what I want people to be comfortable with. Let me see. I'm going to go through them in the order that they came in, I think. Yeah. All right. So we'll start at the top. Dr. Pamela Smith, fellowship in the anti-aging regenerative medicine, had a docu-series about women's hormones. She insists the most accurate way to test women's hormones are by saliva. I agree. That's how we test them in the Healthy Hormone Club. We also use the Dutch test if we're looking at hormone metabolites, or we use a similar test either by ZRT Labs or Meridian Valley Labs that test hormone metabolites. That's to see if we're looking at the pathways, but if we're looking at testing hormone levels for the purpose of hormone replacement therapy, I do love saliva. I feel like very accurate. And that's really one of the only ways that we can test hormone replacement therapy, especially if you're using topical hormone replacement therapy. We also use a dry blood spot test if there's specific cases where women can't do the saliva test. Some women are not able to produce enough saliva. And then also if you're taking oral or sublingual hormones that kind of melt in your mouth, like under your tongue, then that can sometimes contaminate a saliva test. So in that case, we'd use a dry blood spot, but they're very, very similar. So yes, I do love the saliva tests. Those are the tests that we include in the Healthy Hormone Club. And we like testing every 3 to 4 months to see, making sure your levels are accurate. So I see the Dutch test listed. I had mine done 3 months ago. 63 have been noticing issues. I hear you say that can be caused by low estrogen. Would my Dutch test be able to use if I join the Healthy Hormone Club? So we include the testing in the Healthy Hormone Club. So you might as well get and test for right now accurate, but we could look at your Dutch test. If you're in menopause and you haven't taken any other hormones, the Dutch test will give us a kind of general idea of where your hormones are at. Do we prefer to do the test? Absolutely. If you join the Healthy Hormone Club, how it works is you sign up, immediately you get access to our portal and you get sent a few forms to fill out. One is just like the program agreement about how the program works. The other is HIPAA compliant, so it's just a signature. And then the third form is your health and hormone intake form. It's a super short form, but it just gives us all the pertinent information we need to know for helping you with your hormones. And then immediately after you complete that form, we review it. If you're cleared for the program, then we're going to send you a saliva test kit. You usually get it within 2 days if you're in the United States. And you can immediately take that test, send that back, and you'll have your results in like less than 2 weeks. So I say take the test if you want to, but we could also factor in your Dutch test as well. Absolutely. Yeah. And then, yeah, we verify the doses, and we don't just look at testing. We also look at your symptoms and your goals to determine what your dosing should be. And then we adjust as needed. Let's see, I bought the Glow Below, but don't know if I put it inside or just on my skin. The directions are on the website. So if you go to glownaturalwellness.com/glow below, you'll see there's a how do I apply, where do I put it? All the directions are right there, but you can apply it all from basically the front of your vulval area. So from your clitoris all the way back to your anus. You can rub it in, you can put it inside and outside, wherever you're feeling the irritation, dryness, all of that. So it is both internal and external. You can use it that way, but for really specific instructions, including a diagram, go to glownaturalwellness.com/glow below and just read through the frequently asked questions. All the information's right there. Awesome. And we are getting so many just like rave reviews about that product that I'm super proud of it. I use it myself. Super awesome. I love the DHEA version, which is now available. I think it's going to be available next week. That's great for before sex because it really improves your sensitivity. So for those women many women report to me that they don't feel anything down there, or it doesn't feel like it used to. The DHEA really heightens the experience. However, the estrogen is a little better for atrophy, dryness, and keeping that pH balance. So if you are prone to urinary tract infections, you can alternate the two, which is what I tend to do and I tend to recommend most. But if you have to pick one, just choose the one that you like the best, but they both work amazingly. Awesome. Let's see. Next question. I currently have been prescribed 200 milligrams of progesterone to help my insomnia. My Dutch test says I'm very low on estradiol. Shouldn't both hormones be given? Absolutely. Let's see, could that be the reason I wake up often during the night? It could be. Yeah, you definitely want to balance your hormones. So if you have super low estradiol, 0.1, basically no estradiol, you definitely want to replace that as well. Yeah, so estrogen generally helps you stay asleep. Progesterone tends to help you fall asleep. It can be different for different people, so I don't want to say set that in stone like that's how it always is. The best thing to do is to balance your hormones. Yeah, my naturopath reviewed my report and says estradiol is normal for a 63-year-old woman. Oh my God. So this is my pet peeve. Yes, estradiol at nothing is normal for a 63-year-old woman, but so is walking with a cane, so is having low libido, so is having osteoporosis. So that's what's considered normal for someone who is 63, who is at the end of their life, basically. So we don't look at it that way. We look at it what's optimal, not what's normal. It's normal for people with diabetes to have very high blood sugar, but do we want very high blood sugar? Absolutely not. We want optimal blood sugar. So that's always a part where I think that doctors just don't even understand what they're doing. You're going to the naturopath and you're having these hormone tests done because you want to feel amazing. You want to protect yourself from urinary tract infections, from osteoporosis, from dementia, from heart disease. You want to have better libido. You want to have less wrinkles. You want to have better muscle tone. You want to have better sleep. You want to have better moods. You want to prevent the depression and anxiety and all the things that happen with menopause due to the decline, mostly of estrogen, but also progesterone, testosterone. So we don't want normal for a woman at the end of her life or past her prime. It used to be that women didn't live much past 65, right? It wasn't that long ago that was considered old. But now we're living to 110. And so we have to make that decision. Do we want to live the second half of our life with no hormones and feeling subpar and being at higher risk for all these conditions, or do we want to optimize? So I would see a different doctor if I were you. So I would ask that if that same doctor is also giving you that 200 milligrams of progesterone, I would ask her, is 200 milligrams of progesterone normal for a woman at 65 or 63? So how come you're giving me progesterone, but you're not giving me estrogen? Because normal for a woman at 63 for progesterone is also non-existent. So she's not balancing your hormones. I would definitely talk to somebody about that. Go see another practitioner. There's plenty of them that understand hormones. Let's see. I don't present with other symptoms, and so she isn't concerned. It's not whether she's concerned, it's whether you're concerned. And so that's really what I'd look at. Yeah, so low estrogen can be associated with higher blood pressure, higher cholesterol. We actually have a handout that I'll put a link to it under the replay of this, which is called 99 Symptoms, One Root Cause. And it goes over all of the symptoms that are related to the drop in hormones, mostly estrogen, some of it's testosterone, some of it's progesterone, but you'd really be surprised. Things from ringing in the ears to high cholesterol to problems with your blood pressure and your heart rate. All these things it's all affected. And yeah, definitely look at that. So there may be things that you're not putting two and two together that are also related to your low estrogen. But I would definitely balance them out. If you're already taking progesterone, there's no sense in not taking estrogen as well. Stacy, I'm very interested in working with you. I'm currently excited about the Healthy Hormone Club and the current offer. It's a club a good fit for me if I suspect, I don't know why I can't say the word suspect. If I suspect adrenals and thyroid are involved. Absolutely. We do talk about how all the hormones are connected. So when you join the Healthy Hormone Club, that's where we're going to do the testing. You're going to get consultations with hormone practitioners. You're going to get all your hormones, but you also get, right now, we're also doing where you get free enrollment in the Healthy Hormone Academy. And the Healthy Hormone Academy is where we're going to teach you about your adrenals and your thyroid and toxicity and breath work and pelvic floor therapy that you can do at home and self-hypnosis. And we have full-on fitness modules where you work out with me, like through full workouts. We have nutrition for hormones. So we have all the things in there for the lifestyle portion for optimizing your hormones. But we also will, when we look at your symptoms, we're going to look at symptoms of high and low cortisol. We're going to look at symptoms of high or low thyroid, and we will make recommendations either for supplementation or for medications based on what we think you need. We'll always start with the least invasive. So if we think that we can make some tweaks to your diet or some tweaks to your lifestyle, add in a supplement here and there, we're going to do that first to try to optimize your thyroid. And also sometimes hormone deficiency, estrogen and progesterone, can also put a damper on your thyroid function as well. We can see how that's working out, but we will address those as well. Are there any herbs or supplements considered before BHRT specifically for the use of hormone supplementation? We do also consider herbs and supplements as well. It depends if you're still menstruating. So if you're still in your menstrual cycle years, so if you're before you hit perimenopause or menopause, so if you're still having regular menstrual cycles, sometimes you can just use stress reduction, diet, and exercise to optimize your hormones. We have a program called the 21-day metabolic rehab and hormone makeover, and that kind of goes through some detoxification, some nutrition, some lifestyle practices, some stress reduction, and that alone can be really helpful for someone who's still in their 20s or 30s. But once you reach your 40s and you start to get that decline in your ovarian function and you start to have a lower hormone output, then a lot of times you do need hormone replacement, and there's not really any herb that's going to bring the hormone production back to the levels that you need. And so we do include things like DIM and things like saw palmetto and pygeum to help with testosterone detox. So we do include herbs and supplements as well as part of the overall strategy. But like the main thing people are coming to us in the Healthy Hormone Club is that hormone replacement for the hormones that they're not making anymore. But it's all more of a holistic program, so everything's included with it. Let's see, if I'm currently enrolled in the GLOW Natural Wellness Program, I think that you're talking about the GLOW protocol. What is the process of flipping to the Healthy Hormone Club? I think there's a lot of people in both. So the GLOW protocol, that is all the lifestyle strategies and protocols for healing your gut and immune system, for healing your liver and detoxification systems, for looking at nutrient absorption, for looking at parasites and bacterial infections and your mitochondrial health. So it's all the different systems of your body. And we're looking at testing, we're looking at how to understand your blood tests, and we're looking at all the lifestyle practices from diet, nutrition, stress reduction, rest and recovery, mindset, supplementation. That's what we're looking at in the GLOW protocol. In the Healthy Hormone Club, we are replacing the hormones that are lost due to perimenopause or menopause. You can pause or cancel the GLOW protocol membership at any time if you're not using that, or if you're more interested in the Healthy Hormone Club and you really feel like you need hormone replacement therapy, you can totally do that. Yeah, so you can do the GLOW protocol for a few months and then you can switch over to Healthy Hormone Club. With the Healthy Hormone Club, because we include the testing and we include all of your hormones and we include the consultations, instead of charging you like upfront for the test, if you're doing the monthly program in a Healthy Hormone Club, we do require you to sign up for a year so that we can spread out the costs of the testing and the consultation, so you're not getting hit with like an upfront cost, or you can purchase a year at a time. With the GLOW protocol, kind of like you do it as you go, so you can cancel that at any time. Hopefully that's helpful. If you need further clarification, please feel free to email support@glownaturalwellness.com, and either one of our hormone specialists or one of our health coaches can give you a call and kind of talk you through the different ways that you can go about that. So hopefully that's helpful, okay? And you can just let me know if it's not. Okay, I see there's a couple of people putting things in the chat, so I'm gonna go to those after I've gone through all the Q&A. So if you put something in the chat and you're wondering why I'm not answering it, pop it in the Q&A section, because that's where I'm going through the questions in order. Let's see, I have a skin sensitivity to aloe. Is there any other base that can be used, not mineral oil or parabens, open to other areas of my skin? But should I try the aloe-based hormones? So you're asking, our particular hormones have something that you're not agreeable with? We've formulated our base so that it's as natural as possible. It's super natural and super highly absorptive. So we can't change our base, but you can go elsewhere and get hormones aloe, or you can try a patch instead of topical creams. if you can't find one, but you can test it. You don't have to put the hormone creams on your face if it's only your face that's sensitive. We don't use mineral oil or parabens or anything like that in our hormones, but our ingredients are on our website. For our hormones, aloe is one of the ingredients. So if you can't have aloe, then that won't work for you, but you can try other hormones elsewhere. How do you optimize your hormones after menopause? You replace them with bioidentical hormones, because the definition of menopause is basically when you haven't had your period for more than 12 months and your ovaries are no longer producing estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. Your adrenal glands will still produce DHEA, which converts testosterone, which can convert over a little bit to estrogen. And then your peripheral tissues, like your gut, will make a little tiny bit of estrogen and progesterone, but not nearly enough. You're going to have basically non-existent levels of estrogen and progesterone. You can still have decent levels of testosterone and DHEA. Post-menopause, it depends on your genetic makeup, but there's really nothing you can do besides replacing the hormones to optimize them after menopause. And that's why we do hormone replacement therapy. We're all about treating the root cause. So that's really, but also in addition to doing all these things, getting exercise with like weight training, eating enough protein, stress reduction, all these things are super important as well. Oh, we have the prize patrol here. Hi, Paxton. Paxton is here, and if you've been here on our Q&As before, you know that Paxton loves to give away prizes. We're going to give away today 2 bottles of Glow Below. So you can choose actually if you want Glow Below with estrogen or Glow Below with DHEA. This blue one is DHEA and the pink one's estrogen. So we're going to give 2 of those away. And then we're going to give 2 of our 21-day metabolic rehab programs as well. All right, so we got the how you win. So if you haven't been here before, how you win is Paxton will usually tell you what he wants you to put in the chat, and then you pop those in the chat and he will pick one person. So what are they going to put in the chat today, Paxton?
Note.
Note, N-O-T-E?
Yes.
All right, write note, N-O-T-E in the chat, and we'll give you guys just a couple minutes to pop. Oh, people are typing fast and furiously, Paxton. Let's see if anyone knows a trick if you've been here before. All right, so let those go and then pick them yet. I don't pick them yet.
I want to know where okay, I highlighted it.
Yeah, okay, so Paxton's going to look through your comments. And if you're watching on the replay, don't worry, you can still play. So write note. You can write note Paxton or Paxton note in the comments below this video, and we will pick 2 people from there as well. All right, who you got? Okay, Bridget, who wrote note at 5:31 p.m. So Bridget, you've won a bottle of Glow Below. So how you claim that is just email our support at Glow Natural Wellness. That's SUPORT at glownaturalwellness.com and say that you're a winner from the Q&A, and just let us know whether you want Glow Below with estrogen or Glow Below with DHEA. They're both awesome. Okay. Is that the next person? All right. So we'll do a 21-day metabolic rehab now. All right. Who you got? That one? Okay, Trista Wodachek, you've won free access to our 21-day metabolic rehab program. So go ahead and email support at Glow Natural Wellness, and we'll get all those access details over to you. So that's a great holistic way to detox. Average weight loss in that program is about 12 pounds in 3 weeks. And it's all natural, super healthy. And then it's also a great way to detox your hormones. All right, we got another bottle of Glow Below. Who you got?
This person again.
No. I picked somebody new. Okay, Gina, who wrote note Paxton in all caps. You've won a bottle of Glow Below. So go ahead and email us at support@glownaturalwellness.com. Let us know that you won during the Q&A. Oh, and also everybody, send us your address so that we can send you your gift. So put your address in as well, and let us know whether you want Glow Below with estrogen or Glow Below with DHEA. All right, we have one more metabolic rehab.
One more.
Yeah. Oh, they're going fast.
It can see my mouse. I hovered over the only note to Paxton, and now everybody's writing note to Paxton.
Which one you got? All right, Anne, you wrote note to Paxton, A-N-E. You get a copy of the 21-day metabolic rehab. It has a whole online member portal. You can ask questions with our health coaches and meal plans, at-home detox practices. It's a great program. You guys will love it. And Paxton's doing a dance. And if you're watching on the replay, go ahead and put your version of note for Paxton in the comments, and we will get the prizes out to you as well. All right.
Try to be creative and don't do anything that I picked.
Oh, okay. Don't do the same thing that other people did. All right, be creative, he said. Okay, so we're gonna pick the most creative person on the comments in the
Yes.
Okay. All right, you guys, you heard it best.
And something that I didn't see in the chat, even if I didn't pick it.
Okay, thank you, Paxton.
Bye.
Bye.
I was about to close the door and stand. Bye.
Bye. Awesome. So that's our prize patrol. Paxton shows up on almost every Q&A unless he's at Cub Scouts or a baseball game and likes to give away prizes. And I love giving stuff away for you guys, even if you've never bought anything from us before, because I think it's fun to win stuff. Awesome. For the person with the sensitivity to aloe, you can go ahead and email us at support@GlowNaturalWellness. We can send you a little sample of the base cream that you can test on your skin, and you can see if it works for you, so you don't have to like have any issues. But just so you guys all know, if for some reason you were to join the Healthy Hormone Club, you were to get your hormones and you had some kind of reaction or something like skin interactions, it's possible if you have a sensitivity to an ingredient, we would of course allow you to cancel and all that stuff. There's no risk there. Let's see, have you seen 20-year-old females be low in estrogen and progesterone? Absolutely, I was one of them. I was actually misdiagnosed with ovarian failure when I was 20 because I had the hormones of a 55-year-old woman. I had all the symptoms of menopause. I had low libido, I had thinning skin, I had all insomnia, I had all the things. And for me, it was a combination of stress, of bacterial and parasitic infections, of heavy metal toxicity, of undiagnosed hypothyroidism, food sensitivity. So it was a lot of different things putting stress on my system. We've seen it a lot with girls who have eating disorders or are super athletes and are always putting stress on their body, or people in abusive relationships. Definitely don't typically recommend hormone replacement therapy for these girls at age 20 as a frontline treatment, because we want to see what's causing the hormone decline or deficiency. And usually it's something in the lifestyle. Let's see, her testosterone is not showing low, could be a little bit of PCOS as well. I would definitely look at the root cause for sure. Could she do some hormones? She could. I would really want to look at that case by case. I wouldn't blanket say just go ahead and give her hormones, because a lot of times we can actually get those hormones producing again. We can get it back online very quickly with some adjustments to lifestyle. Definitely, I would definitely work with her and see. And then also, depending on when you took the test in her cycle, the first few days of the cycle and the last few days of the cycle, hormones are going to be very low. So making sure that if she just doesn't have a regular cycles and it was tested at the wrong time of the month is another really important thing to know. Let's see, anyone feel lightheaded? I'm not on hormone replacement therapy. I've been feeling lightheaded for 4 years, been to every doctor, including have the MRI. I'm 59 and postmenopause for 4 years. So it sounds like you're correlating, which is great sleuth work, by the way. And this is what we do in natural medicine all the time. We look at the timeline. So you are saying you've been in menopause for 4 years, you're feeling lightheaded for 4 years. So you're assuming there's some type of correlation, which is exactly what we do in natural medicine. And there definitely could be. Estrogen is super important for supplying the brain with glucose for energy. And so if you're low in estrogen, you could have a little feeling of lightheadedness. A lot of people have brain fog, memory issues. And so that could be definitely related, but it could be related to blood pressure as well, or dehydration, or some other thing going on. But I would definitely, so you've been to every doctor, maybe working with a functional medicine or naturopathic physician. I don't know if you've tried that before, but definitely if you're in menopause, you can definitely try to see if replacing your estrogen and progesterone will help, which I think it definitely might. There's a correlation there for sure. How is your product similar or different from pellets? So pellets are basically, they require a surgical procedure to implant into usually like your butt. There's an incision. They insert this little compressed tablet inside your body, and that releases hormones. Typically, pellets are super high dose, what we call super physiologic levels, which is higher levels of hormones than your body would naturally produce. Topical hormones are generally physiological levels, which is only what your body needs. So we're only replacing what your body needs. Pellets tend to release a lot in the beginning, and then you have to wait 3 or 4 months for that pellet to wear out, and then you get a new pellet inserted. So there's no way for it to adjust the dosing. If you have too much and you're getting side effects, or too little and you're not getting help, you have to wait it out until the next pellet. And they're not regulated at all either, so you really don't know where you're getting in. Most of the times pellets are inserted by Botox clinics or med spas who don't have a lot of training in the actual physiology of menopause or women's hormones, but they just know how to do injections. We don't use pellets in our practice. Most doctors who are well educated by the American Academy of Anti-Aging, who really understand the physiology and the importance of physiological doses, not giving women too much hormones and not giving them too little hormones, giving them just what they need. Most of those doctors and myself were not fans of pellets. But the upside to pellets, because I'm always going to be honest and tell you the upside, is that you just set it and forget it. So you don't have to worry about having to take your hormones or you put your hormone creams on. It's already there. But unfortunately, a lot of women I notice, they usually have like good experiences with the first pellet. And then generally, once they get the second pellet, they start to have some weight gain, they start to have some anxiety. So we have a lot of women who are on pellets and come to us to help them to feel normal again. But it's a personal choice. We don't do pellets, obviously, because we are virtual. So you're not going to come in the office and we're not going to insert a pellet. Plus, I wouldn't do them anyway because I just don't. Not in line with my the right dose philosophy. In natural medicine, we believe in not over medicating, but just give people what they need. Do no harm, lowest possible dose that creates the effect that you're looking for. So that's the philosophy we use in our practice. But certainly there's women who love pellets. That's what's different. We use topical bioidentical creams, which are the safest. They have the highest safety profile. There's no risk of clotting or any liver issues or there's really no side effects when you're on the right dose of topical bioidentical hormones. That's why we use them. Hello, Phoenix. All right, obesity caused by unbalanced hormones. So obesity itself is caused by a variety of different situations, and it could be due to a thyroid issue. Weight issues, though, however, is very common for women when they hit menopause to become more insulin resistant, so they don't process carbohydrates as well due to the loss of estrogen. They also have a harder time maintaining lean muscle mass due to the loss of estrogen, and so this can lower the metabolism. This can cause some weight gain. But obesity, that's extreme weight gain, and that's generally going to be due to diet and lifestyle in addition to having a hormone imbalance, but it could be due to a thyroid dysfunction. If your thyroid's not working, you're not going to burn that many calories. And so definitely looking at thyroid optimization, hormone balance, having proper levels of estrogen, testosterone, and progesterone will help you to have an easier time maintaining your weight, but they're not magic weight loss potions. Like, you're not going to be obese and then rub hormones on your skin and have balance your hormones and then lose the weight. You will have to exercise, you will have to change your diet in order for the weight to come off, but it'll be a lot easier if your hormones are balanced, because particularly estrogen is really important for women to have that contraction in their muscle. Just like testosterone for men helps them have muscle, estrogen for women helps them maintain their lean muscle, testosterone to a lesser degree. And so DHEA as well is important for metabolism, energy levels, getting proper sleep. If you have balanced estrogen and progesterone levels, that's going to make you more active during the day. There's a whole cascade of things that go on. So yes, it can help with weight management, but it's not going to be usually the answer to obesity. There's generally a more holistic approach that's needed. See, hot and cold flashes at age 70. What is causing this? I thought at this age it would have concluded. I understand. Generally, the general consensus is that for most women, things like hot flashes and night sweats generally resolve on their own if you don't have hormone replacement therapy in 10 to 15 years after the onset of menopause. But that's most women. We have lots of women in our practice who are in their late 70s. They're still having hot flashes and they needed that estrogen to help to regulate them. So there are a lot of women who still experience those things. And I think like the numbers are actually a lot higher than we thought before. It might be as much as 30% of women will still experience hot flashes for the rest of their life if they don't do anything about them. Yeah, you can totally do some hormone replacement therapy. Topical is going to be the safest for you, and you'll also get other benefits as well and you can also try some herbs. You can try things like eating fermented soy or black cohosh. There is some kind of weak anecdotal evidence, but there's no actual clinical studies to show that those work. But you can definitely try. The next, I'm sorry, I didn't need to laugh, but it's just the way this is worded. My vagina hurts like hell when trying to have intimacy with my husband. What works? I'm going to give a plug for Glow Below. Glow Below with DHEA is awesome, but so is Glow Below with estrogen. They both work great. They are vaginal moisturizers. They help to improve the elasticity, which means the stretchiness of your vagina, which is important when having sex. As we get older, like a dried up rubber band, our vagina doesn't stretch anymore. And so if we try to have penetration, not only is it dry, so there's no lubrication, which you can use lube. Definitely anyone over 40 having sex should definitely use lube. But just for comfort overall, you need to have elasticity, you need to have moisture, you need to have flexibility and integrity of the tissues. You need to have the skin not to be paper thin. Otherwise, you're going to have tearing and pain. Definitely, you don't need to be in a healthy hormone club to get these products. You can buy them right off our website, and they are super safe. So even for women who have had breast cancer or who can't use systemic hormones, the hormones in the vaginal serums, they stay local to the vaginal tissues and the pelvic floor. So the urethra, the bladder, the vagina, the vulva. Those are the areas that are going to get the hormones. They're going to stay local. They're not going to raise your serum concentrations, which means that they're safe for pretty much all women, even those who are getting treatment for breast cancer or other cancers. They're oncologist approved. I have a lot of information on this on the sales page or the information page for Glow. So if you go to our website, glownaturalwellness.com/glowbelow, then you'll read all about it. Yeah, definitely. I would totally recommend a vaginal moisturizer and vaginal estrogen or vaginal DHEA as well. Okay, let's see. Next question. I've been taking Orthocept 1530 tabs, skipping the placebo week and continuously for 12 years to control hormonal migraine, also Botox for migraine, Ajovy for migraine, experiencing night sweats and hot flashes occasionally even while on hormones. So it sounds like you're on birth control, which is different than hormone replacement. So birth control is designed to block your hormones and give you a kind of like a synthetic fake hormone experience, so you don't actually menstruate. It actually blocks your hormones. So all the things that your hormones are supposed to be doing, birth control like steps in and stunts them from doing their thing. So it's totally the opposite of bioidentical hormones, which help your hormones to do what they're supposed to do naturally. So that's why you're probably experiencing the night sweats and the hot flashes. There is some relief that you get from things like acne and migraines from those synthetic hormones, because they do act like our hormones, but they're not our hormones. Do you have to stop birth control pills altogether? Yeah, we have women who are on birth control pills for a variety of different reasons, whether it be heavy bleeding, or whether it be contraception. So you can take topical hormone replacement in addition to birth control pills. The only thing I like to caution people on is it might negate the contraceptive abilities of your birth control pills. So you might want to have a backup method for contraception, because you're giving your body a thing that's blocking. But you can totally do both, especially if you're using it for migraines. You probably don't want to cold turkey it all at once, depending on how bad your migraines are. But bioidentical hormone replacement can also help with migraines as well, especially progesterone is super helpful for migraines. A lot of times it's given to women who are not even on hormone replacement prophylactically. If they start to get a migraine, you can use some progesterone cream almost immediately, and that can help to subside the migraine to subside. So it's been super helpful. Let's see, can I start with the monthly payments and then change it to a yearly payment as soon as I have enough money? Absolutely. You just reach out to our support, or once you're in the program, there's a member portal and you can just tell us in the chat and we'll help you do that. You can absolutely do that anytime you want. Let's see, I have a supplement with B6 for tested above range, which indicates deficiency. Would this be an absorption issue? Quite possibly, or maybe it's the wrong form of B6 that you're just not. Maybe you want to try to get B6 from your food as well. So I'm not really 100% sure why it's happening or what type of test you did, or if it's an organic acid test or something else. But yeah, I would just maybe try just a couple different forms or combinations of the B vitamins. Is it possible to get your libido back after menopause naturally? It depends what you define naturally, because the bioidentical hormones are natural, like our Glow vaginal moisturizer is natural, but if you meal without doing anything, it depends. A lot of times libido starts in your brain, right? However, if you have vaginal dryness, if you have pain, if you have pelvic floor dysfunction, then it doesn't matter how in the mood you are. If something hurts or is unpleasurable, you're not going to want to do it. Your body's going to send the message, don't do it. So if it's enjoyable, if it's pain-free, and if it's comfortable, then that helps a lot. And of course, there's body image issues that some people have where they don't feel uncomfortable, they feel uncomfortable. So in seeing them naked, there's relationship possibilities. If you don't really jive with that person for some reason, there's sleep if you're too tired to have sex. So there's a lot of different situations that come into play. Let's see, I healed my body from Hashimoto's, absolutely awesome. I eat organic whole foods, weight train, meditate, daily self-care, using a 3,000-year-old healing art, awesome. Drink plenty of clean water, sounds like you're doing all the things, but can't seem to get any libido back. And my husband still wants to have sex once a week. I've tried your products since I don't use any lotions. I haven't, okay. Try to think to yourself, what is it why you don't have libido? Is it that you're uncomfortable? Is it painful? Do you not have any sensation anymore? If you, during penetration, are you just, isn't not pleasurable? Those are all reasons why you might want to use a vaginal estrogen or local estrogen, because that can help to perk things up, or even a vaginal local DHEA. But if it's not pain, and it's not discomfort, and it's just being in the mood. Sometimes foreplay, I hate to say this, but sometimes just cuddling and relaxing and playing some music and not expecting it to go anywhere. So just tell your husband, we're just gonna cuddle. We're just gonna lay down and relax and play some music and light some candles. We're just gonna cuddle. Don't expect it to go anywhere. And that might help it to go somewhere. So those are one thing. Maca is an herb that you can use that can sometimes help to improve the effectiveness of the testosterone that you have. So that could be helpful. We are coming out with a libido formula. There's horny goatweed is another herb. So it's going to be called Glow Spice. And it's a sexual performance and cognitive enhancement formula. So it does have, there's some natural herbs that can help with kind of stimulating the sex drive. I don't know if they're going to work for you, because some of them work for one person and not for the other. So it's definitely something you can try. Is the high price of bioidentical hormones worth it? It depends what you consider a high price. We like to think that our program is super affordable, including hormones, consultations, testing, 24/7 support. So I don't think it's very expensive. There's places where you can go for just spend $400 per prescription of bioidentical hormones and not get any testing. So it depends on what you think is expensive, but I think it's one of the best investments you can make in your health, especially if you're a woman in menopause, and because of the reduced risk of heart disease, dementia, stroke, diabetes, and all-cause mortality. Basically, women who use bioidentical hormones, and this is clinically studied, peer-reviewed meta-analysis, it's showing that women who use bioidentical hormones at the proper dose and delivery method live on average 7 to 9 years longer than women who don't, and they live with less medications as women that don't. So that's why. What are your bioidentical hormones made of? We have an ingredient list on our website, but the actual hormone itself is made from wild yam. So there's a chemical compound in wild yam called diogenin. This has to be extracted, and then the chemical structure, some parts of it are removed, and then it becomes estrogen, it becomes testosterone, it becomes progesterone, it becomes DHEA. Now, you can't just eat a yam, because you won't get that. You'll get just the yam. So they have to be extracted specifically, and the different components have to be taken off in order to form those bioidentical hormones, which are exactly the same as the hormones that your body makes. And then the other ingredients are plant-based, all natural. There's aloe, there's coconut oil, there's olive oil, there's shea butter. So the full ingredient list is on our website. Let's see. If you go to healthyhormoneclub.com, you'll see that. If you go to what are the hormones made of, you'll see that ingredients list. Let's see. I'm living between the US and Finland. I'm actually leaving the US on Sunday. I would prefer not to pay the extra payment for the international shipping. So can I sign up now and get the discounted price, then get home and get the test done? Only in May when I come back, is it possible to combine? Emails at support at Glow Natural Wellness. We're very easy to work with. We can totally work something out with you, even to where we ship you like a few tests at a time, so you have those on hand. And when we ship you hormones, we can double it up possibly, so you have a longer supply of hormones so you can travel around with it. So definitely email us, support at glownaturalwellness.com, and we'll work something out with you. You mentioned that ammonia can be normal, mostly dehydration. Yeah, especially if you have urinary incontinence. If you have if you peed yourself a little bit and the urine kind of got on your vulva or maybe in your underwear and it has an ammonia smell, then that could be a sign of dehydration. What's the difference between an ammonia smell and a chemical smell? The ammonia smell smells like ammonia, and a chemical smell just smells like cleaning supplies in general, or just not so right. And so that could be a sign of bacterial vaginosis or another infection. So if you don't have urinary incontinence and you're not dehydrated and you have that ammonia or chemical smell, then I would consider getting checked out by your gynecologist to see if you might have an infection. Very easily treated with a course of antibiotics. And if you're worried about the antibiotics causing a bacterial imbalance or issue with your microbiome, you can take probiotics to counteract that. It's a short course. It makes things better, and then you don't have to worry. See, I forgot to change my estrogen patch maybe 2 weeks ago. I'm now having a period, which I haven't had for years. I have replaced my estrogen patch, and I've been using progesterone cream the whole time. How do I get rid of the period and the headache? Consult your practitioner, just because I'm not sure your menstrual history or anything like that. And sometimes abnormal bleeding can be the sign of a bigger issue. So I just consult with your practitioner who's prescribing your hormones and make sure that there's nothing going on, but it should resolve on its own once your hormones are back in your system. See, I'm 47 years old. I have a copper IUD for 13 years with no issues. Over the past year, I've noticed clots at the end of my period, which is regular. My doctor has ordered an ultrasound to rule out anything, and she mentioned taking progesterone. Are there any options besides birth control? There's lots of options for bioidentical progesterone. It's available orally, it's available in a patch, it's available in a cream. So yeah, there's many non-birth control. Actually, birth control pills are progestin, so they're not actually progesterone. So yeah, you have many options for progesterone. And it is normal when you are towards the end of your menstrual life cycle, where your periods get further apart, and then they get closer together, and then you might skip a period and you might start noticing some more clotting, and that is 100% normal. But if it's problematic for you, you feel like it's heavy bleeding, you can totally use some hormones in addition. And yeah, so topical bioidentical progesterone or oral progesterone would be fine for you, and that you can do bioidentical both. Let's see, my estrogen and progesterone have been within range in testing, but my testosterone is almost zero. Do you work with clients who may only need testosterone to balance hormones? Do you work primarily with estrogen, progesterone, DHA? We work with people with all types of hormone imbalances. So yes, we can totally help you bring your testosterone up. Chances are, I guess, you're still cycling if your progesterone and estrogen are in normal range, or possibly they're looking at you and saying that you're menopausal, and therefore you should have hardly any progesterone and estrogen. So I'm not sure your age or where you are in your menstrual cycle, but we can help you get them all balanced for sure. Let's see, my friend says taking estrogen will cause things like cancer to grow. That's only if you're taking oral synthetic estrogen in super high doses, and you're also taking oral synthetic progestin. Many meta-analyses have proven that to be incorrect. There was a 2002 study where they showed that women on hormone replacement therapy were having a higher incidence of cancer, but then when they looked at the study, it was actually the synthetic oral progestin, not progesterone and not estrogen that was causing it. Actually, the women who were taking only synthetic oral estrogen had lower rates of cancer. So absolutely not true. That's been debunked time and time again. Unfortunately, there's still many doctors and many people who still believe that, but the studies and the data doesn't support that at all. What does cause cancer is sedentary lifestyles, drinking alcohol, eating processed packaged foods, anything that's going to cause DNA damage. And that DNA damage causes the cellular mutations, which causes cancer. Stem cells is what cause cancer, not estrogen. So you can actually read, there's a book written by a very popular oncologist called Estrogen Matters. Great book to read, totally normal people language, so not like reading a peer-reviewed study, which is very hard to read. That's a great one. And then there is a medical researcher and doctor who, her name is Devaki Berkson, Berkson or En, I'm not sure, but she wrote a paper called Estrogen Vindication. And I'll try to post links to these below this video replay, or you can Google Estrogen Vindication, Dr. Berkson. And that is a really great synopsis of the kind of the fallacy and the myths and misconceptions around estrogen, how estrogen actually is cancer preventative and super helpful. Both of those resources are great for any people that tell you that estrogen causes cancer, because if it did, then the population that would have the highest levels of cancer would be women in their 20s and pregnant women, because those are the people with the highest estrogen levels. But as we know, the highest incidence of cancers happen in women who are postmenopausal, who do have low levels of estrogen. So just using that common sense. And you have to think about what we're talking about. Are we talking about synthetic estrogen that's causing like weird things to happen in the body? Or are we talking about bioidentical estrogen that's exactly what your body makes and replacing it to healthy levels? Yeah, that's just my 2 cents there. See, I use my saliva test just sitting here. I'm trying to understand how to do the ovulation testing in order to do the saliva testing at the right time. I can't grasp the whole process of how, when to do the additional ovulation testing. I have a phone call set up tomorrow with Sherry. So hopefully, yeah, Sherry will walk you through everything, how exactly to test. If you're super irregular, where you just don't know when the period is going to come, you can go ahead and take your test, and then we'll figure that out based on when your period should happen to come next. But yeah, if you do an ovulation predictor kit, there's generally instructions in the kit that it's basically, you can also do it with your temperature, but it's basically to predict when you're going to ovulate so that we know where in your cycle you are. But Sherry can walk you through all of that tomorrow. So don't worry, we got your back. We'll make it work. If we need to do a test, and then let's say you get your period the next day, so we did it at the end, we'll just send you another test. We'll do it again. So don't worry, and you really can't mess it up. See, if we join the Healthy Hormone Club, do we still need the Glow Below? You don't need the Glow Below. If you want the Glow Below, you can get that in addition. Each of these bottles lasts 3 months. It's super affordable. It comes out to about $20 to have the Glow Below. It's a vaginal moisturizer. So basically it's like, we put moisturizer on our face, we put moisturizer on our lips, we put like our eye cream under our eyes. It's that for your vagina and your vulva, but also it has low dose estrogen to help to rejuvenate those tissues. Yeah, so that's a separate purchase. A whole year will cost you like $60 or $100 tops. You can use the hormone replacement creams in the Healthy Hormone Club vaginally as well, but they're not as effective for the repair of moisture and the kind of like tissue repair as you would use like a moisturizer for. So it's skincare for down there. Yeah, it's a serum for your vagina. So that's what that's for. Let's see, how will HRT impact fertility for women who may be older, but we still have healthy periods and still want to conceive? It's not going to hurt your fertility at all. It's not a fertility treatment. So it's not going to affect the number of eggs that you have. It shouldn't affect your menstrual cycle length or anything like that. You may find it easier to maintain the pregnancy, because if you are at the end of your reproductive years and you don't have quite enough progesterone, that's where women a lot of times will have miscarriages when they're later in their years. It can help to you maintain the pregnancy more, but it won't really affect your fertility in one way or another. Professionally, I am a naturopathic physician, so that's the type of doctor I am. Enlarged prostate incontinence success experience. This is a whole happy hour about women's health and hormones, but we can do another video on prostate for you specifically. Let's see. Should you consider vaginal estradiol such as Juvafem or Vagifem safe? Yeah, they're all pretty safe. All of the vaginal estrogens are pretty safe because they stay local to the vaginal tissue. The only one I don't like is they're still using Premarin, which is pregnant mare's urine, a horse estrogen. So I don't never like using that. And as long as it's bioidentical, I think they're all pretty safe. Are the creams gluten-free? Yeah, it's gluten-free, dairy-free, allergen-free, all across the board. I have a gluten sensitivity, so nothing I make has gluten in it. Nothing I'll ever endorse will have gluten in it because I am super sensitive to gluten. That's definitely true. But generally, everything's going to be allergen-free. Let's see, Healthy Hormone Club, you test every 3 to 4 months. What happens in between? You are using your hormones. You're going through the Healthy Hormone Academy. You're able to book a 15-minute consultation with a hormone specialist anytime you need any help. Most people will go about their way if they're feeling good. They're probably not going to book consultations, but they can message in if they have a question or anything like that. But you can book a 15-minute consultation. We have a whole team of highly trained doctors, nurses, who are trained as hormone specialists underneath me, and they are the ones who are doing the hormone consultations. You can go to our website, Glow Natural Wellness, and you can look on our About Us, and you can see the bios of our hormone specialists on there. How many consultations do you get? As many as you need. Our goal in the Healthy Hormone Club is to balance your hormones. Some people need more consultations than others. Some people have a more difficult situation, so they might need more tweaking. They might just have more questions in general. And so we're there for you. We also have a chat. So inside your member portal, there's a chat where you can chat with our hormone specialist team as well. We try to make it as convenient as possible. So we have naturopathic physicians. We have master's levels nurses, so you can see their backgrounds on our website if you want to look at their bios. But just so you know, even your top medical doctor at Harvard might have zero training in hormone therapy and menopause. So all of our hormone specialists have countless hours of training on menopause, perimenopause, female health and hormones, hormone replacement therapy. We also have a pelvic floor specialist on our team who is a doctor of physical therapy. So we have a wide variety of backgrounds and clinicians, and we all work as a team. We're all there to help. Do you have testimonials for the Healthy Hormone Club? Yes, we have those on our website. If you go to healthyhormoneclub.com. And anyone on this, we're always looking for more testimonials. I do a really bad job of asking for testimonials because I think that people aren't going to want to talk on video about their hormone replacement, but we're always accepting those. It's my love language. So if you are having a good experience, feel free to send those in. But we do have lots of testimonials as well, just people who have, without any asking for them, they just send them because they're happy. Let's see, what is your opinion on hemorrhoids caused by liver not functioning correctly after giving birth? Generally, hemorrhoids are not caused by the liver not functioning correctly. They're generally caused by straining when you go to the bathroom or thinning of the tissues around that area, and then the blood vessel can pop out a little bit. And that's what can cause the hemorrhoids. I'm not sure. It could be a way downstream indirect relation with the liver, but it's not really a direct relation. How old is too old for BHRT? That's individual. There is no upper age limit. It used to be that they used to say that you had to stop taking hormones after 5 years or 7 years. And that's true for synthetic hormones because they're very dangerous. And you want to take them as short as possible and then get off of them. But for bioidentical hormones, topical bioidenticals that have no side effects, they're actually building health, so you can stay on them until you die. So there's never too old to do bioidentical hormones. There's no upper age limit. So I have a prolapsed uterus and wear pessary, plus my hair is thinning quite a bit. Will HRT help me? It will help to prevent things from getting worse, depending on how prolapsed things are. Generally, it would take years to restore that integrity of the tissues, but it definitely can help things from getting worse, which is super important for the health of your pelvic floor and the ability of that whole musculature that's there to have that integrity. Hair thinning can be signs of many things, including genetics. I don't want to promise that hair thinning is going to get fixed by hormone replacement therapy, but it can. Definitely one of the signs of hormone decline is hair loss, because Estrogen and progesterone are important for the follicles and important for like hair thickness and strength. However, there's other issues that can cause hair loss as well. Poor nutrition, low protein, thyroid, and just genetics in general. So I can't, with full definitions, say that hormone replacement will fix your hair because there's so many different reasons for hair loss and hair thinning. See, my last blood test showed my hormones are good. My challenge is with libido. Is it in my head? Work, stress, trying to be a super mom? It could be any of those things. Should I go for a different test? How do I get my sexy back? You could try the glow below. I think it's super because it makes things like gets you in the mood. And then also stress reduction, try to take a break. It's hard if you're doing like all this, if you are, think about like the primitive mind. So stress in this day and age, it looks like work, it looks like taking care of the kids, it looks like there's responsibilities, paying the bills, but stress, like evolutionary stress, like what our bodies are wired, is like running from a tiger or danger. And so your body, when it gets that stress response, it shuts down like digestion, it shuts down hormone production, it shuts down blood flow to the central area, so to your sexual organs, to your gut, and it puts blood flow to your extremities so you can run and fight. And so the physiological response to stress can be to tamper libido, because if you are running from a tiger or you're in danger, the last thing that your body wants to do is stop and have sex. Like making babies is not important when there's a fire, when there's a famine, when there is a tiger running after you. So definitely the mindset and the stress reduction could be a big part of it. Something like libido can be helpful for improving the sensitivity, but take time out for it for sure. I do not have a specific cosmetic product that I promote. Thank you for saying my skin looks beautiful. I think part of it has to do with the lighting. I got a big light in front of me. So when you have a light in front of you, just so anyone who makes videos, if you have a light in front of you, it takes away from all the shadows. You can see, I do have like some wrinkles, but you can't see them as well. And then I have crow's feet, but you can't see them very well because of the light. And there's like Zoom kind of makes you look better anyways. Don't want to fool you guys and think I have perfect skin. It is a product called One Skin. I don't have any affiliations with them. It's just a serum. And but I really am a full believer that hormone replacement therapy, balanced hormones are going to help your skin definitely look good because of the collagen and elastin that is dependent on estrogen. So I'm a big proponent of estrogen replacement for better skin. How do we claim our prize? You're going to send an email to support@glownaturalwellness.com. Say, hi, my name is Anne. I won. Tell us what you won. And please send it to my address. Here's my address. Thank you very much. And then we will get that out to you generally within the week. Does estrogen replacement ever cause weight gain? It can cause water retention in the first like 1 to 3 months, but generally that will alleviate. It's not actually weight gain. It's just when you go from a state of no hormones or low hormones to abundant hormones, your body can sometimes hold on to some water so that it can circulate those hormones better. And also it's very hydrating. So it hydrates your skin, it hydrates your joints, it hydrates your tissues. And so that extra hydration can show up as some water retention on the scale. But if your hormones are balanced, generally it's not going to be like a weight gain, like a fat gain. It's going to be a little bit of water. You can do some like herbal diuretics if it's uncomfortable, but it's not going to cause a weight gain though, so it's not a fat gain. Can you gain weight while using hormones? Absolutely. So if you start eating more, exercising less, or have some changes to your life, then it's possible to gain weight, but that doesn't cause weight gain. How do you determine how much hormone is needed? We do testing to see where your current levels are. We also do a complete like symptom analysis to see where you are struggling. We look at symptoms of high and low estrogen, high and low progesterone, high and low androgens, testosterone, DHEA, high and low cortisol, high and low thyroid. We look at that all together along with your goals and what you want in life. And that's how we determine where you should be. We will always start a little on the conservative side and then increase if needed. Every woman's different. Some women will be on a certain dose and that will be the perfect amount for them. And another woman might be on the same dose and that's not enough for them. That's why we're retesting, we're seeing your levels, and we're always tweaking the hormones to get to where they need to be. Can you repeat what Glow Below claims do? So Glow Below is a vaginal hydration and rejuvenation serum. It's going to help with dryness. It's going to help with atrophy, elasticity, sexual pleasure, incontinence, preventing UTIs. There's a whole page of that explains all of the details, and that is glownaturalwellness.com/glowbelow. There's a video on there, and then there's a whole bunch of information on the page if you want to learn more about them. Let's see, can your current program incorporate my current regimen of estrogen patch with your topical progesterone? Yeah, you can totally do that. You can totally do that if you want to stay on a hormone that you're currently using, but you want our help balancing the rest of your hormones. We can do that for you for sure. If we get HRT currently, would you not experience hot flashes? It won't bring them back, will they? If you are on a hormone replacement therapy and you don't have hot flashes, I'm not sure the question, will hormones bring them back if you're already on hormones? It should. As long as you're on the right dose of hormones and you're not changing your dose back and forth, then you shouldn't get hot flashes again. I don't think I'm getting that question right, though. So I'm not sure. You can ask it again if I didn't get that right. But hormone replacement therapy, if you stop hormone replacement therapy, and your hormone levels go back to the decline rate, then that's where you can get hot flashes back. So maybe that was the question. What study specifically shows breast cancer reduction? I don't have all the studies in front of me right now, but you can Google that, or you can look at the resources that I mentioned, Estrogen Matters and Estrogen Vindication. Those have lists of all the studies in there. See, I have had a painful vagina and penetration and pain tingle when I urinate. Since I had to be on antibiotics for UTI over 10 years ago, probiotics have not helped. Yeast detoxes as well have not helped. What may have happened down there, and is there a solution? I'm not sure of your age or anything, but likely the loss of estrogen has caused atrophy, thinning of the skin, lack of the lactobacillus bacteria that is needed to keep the pH balance well, and a lack of moisture that's causing this pain and tingling when you urinate. It can also be a recurrent urinary tract infection. So definitely maybe go to your gynecologist, make sure that you don't have an infection. But topical vaginal estrogen and the vaginal moisturizer can be super helpful for you. Will you be able to answer the question in the chat? It's not letting me transfer your question. I'm going to be on here for about 8 more minutes till 6:30 because I'm little Paxton that you saw earlier in the prize patrol. He needs to eat dinner. What I'll do is I will download the chat, and I will go through the questions, and I'll make some short videos of the answers sometime next week. So if I don't get to your question, I'll download the chat and I'll make another Q&A recording that I'll upload for you guys and get most of the questions answered. If you have a question about our specific product or a question about the Healthy Hormone Club, you can definitely email those to our support at Glow Natural Wellness, and my team will be able to answer any product related questions or any program related questions. So definitely, or pricing or anything like that. So definitely don't worry about those. If you have just general questions, like for these Q&As, I do them every 2 weeks, and I'll try to answer some of the questions via an email after this. It's hard for me to determine how many people are on. We had close to 200 people on earlier. Now we still have over 100 people on. It's hard to gauge how many questions there's going to be, but I do my best to donate my time to try to answer as many questions as possible. Well, if you're not in perimenopause yet, I'm 39. Should I start taking bioidentical hormones? I just did blood work. And so if you are declining hormones, if you're noticing any symptoms of hormone decline, then yeah, you're never too young. Hormone decline does start in the 30s. So some women will go into menopause at 39. There's an average age of 51, but we do have a lot of women in their 30s who start on hormones just to top off their levels so that they stay ahead of it, so they don't have that drop decline and they don't lose the collagen in their skin, and they don't have the changes in mood and memory and joint pain and all the things that go along with menopause. So you're not too young. If you do have some deficiencies, you can top them off with bioidentical hormones. It's not a problem. How does a person get rid of STD? I have one and still have one partner, 45 years, no drugs or alcohol. I have the fishy smell. Definitely go see your gynecologist. If you don't have a gynecologist, go to urgent care and they can refer you to somebody. But it's not a good thing to let that sit, and not really something you want to self-treat. Can you think of any reasons there would be air bubbles from the V in menopause? Seems related to GI symptoms. CAT scan seems to rule out any breech fistula. Only air bubbles, no sound, no scent, no discharge. It could be just air getting in. If you have a lot of laxity, pelvic floor issue is what I think it is. It could be just laxity and there's some air getting in there. And then like when you sit down or when you move a certain way, little bubbles come out. So I think it's a laxity issue of the pelvic floor. Hi, Dr. Michelle, reaction to hormone replacement. I'd love to insight. I worked on my gut health and liver for quite some time, studying functional nutrition, finally started estrogen. Okay, got better sleep, weight started to normalize. In 2 days, I developed heartburn. I added a small amount of progesterone. It sounds like you're self-treating. So I would probably work with a practitioner, but it looks like you're just getting some over-the-counter self-treating your hormones. So I would probably work with a practitioner to see if you can balance it. It's hard for me to tell because I don't have a whole health history on you. And I also am not familiar with the products you're using. So possibly it's not what you think it is or has another ingredient. 8 milligrams of topical progesterone is really nothing. Probably not enough to give you any kind of benefit. Usually you're going to use like 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 75 milligrams of topical progesterone to balance out the estrogen. And then I don't know if you're testing it all either. So it doesn't look like you're testing your hormone levels. So that would be the right start, is working with a skilled practitioner, not DIYing your hormone replacement therapy, and then testing your levels to see where you're at. Can we tell me what your website is? glownaturalwellness.com is our website. If you go to work with us, you'll see Healthy Hormone Club there. If you go to the shop, you'll see Glow below in our other supplements. Hopefully that's helpful. Yes, we're recording this, so we will give you guys access to the recording. I'll try to send that out in a couple of days once I'm able to let it has to process and all of that stuff. So we'll send that out in a couple of days. When a study says estrogen and progesterone, is that bioidentical? In studies, sometimes they'll use the word progesterone and progestin and medroxyprogesterone acetate the same. And estrogen could be horse estrogen, it could be synthetic estrogen, it could be estradiol. The words estrogen and progesterone are not always necessarily bioidentical. If they use EE conjugated equine estrogen, that means horse estrogen. If they use progestin, that is a synthetic medroxyprogesterone acetate, and that's the dangerous one that causes all the problems. Where is the best place to find info on heart and BHRT? Is that covered? There's a lot of American Institute of Anti-Aging is a great place. I have a blog on my website about heart health and hormone replacement. So there's some great places in there. Estrogen Matters is a good place too. Would you recommend for irregular, heavy, and prolonged periods for a 20-year-old? I'd look at diet, I'd look at stress reduction, I'd look at exercise, I'd look at toxins, especially like cleaning products, personal care products, parabens, phthalates, heavy metals, all of those things. There's a lot of xenoestrogens in the environment that can mimic our hormones and can really cause problems with hormone detox, liver health, and can create a lot of issues with the menstrual cycle. So I would start definitely there. Let's see, I'm 53 and in menopause. Should I consider doing the functional blood chemistry analysis before deciding to pursue BHRT through your program as the first step? So if you're looking to balance your hormones and to deal with all of the symptoms of hormone decline, then hormone replacement therapy is going to really help you. Now, if you're looking for other potential issues with like blood count, anemia, thyroid, diabetes, inflammation, if you're looking for all of those things, then that's where the functional blood work analysis is going to come in well. If you're in menopause and you're having any symptoms of menopause or any symptoms that we've talked about on our blog or any of these videos, you can go to fixhormones.com. That is going to take you to sign up for one of my master classes about hormone replacement therapy, who it's for, who it's not, when it might be a good idea, and some of the myths and misconceptions about hormones and their safety and the different types of hormones. So that's a good place to start to see if you might want to try hormone replacement therapy. But it's a good idea to get like a blood panel once a year or once every other year, just to make sure there's nothing else going on that needs to be addressed in your health besides hormones. If I take current oral progesterone and join the Healthy Hormone Club, can I switch to what you recommend? How quickly do we get our creams? Yeah, we'll switch you over. We'll look at your current dose and we'll look at your levels, and then we'll decide if that current dose is working for you, kind of match it up with the topical hormones. Or if you are not feeling good on that dose, then we'll adjust things. We'll balance out all of your hormones. Basically how it works is you're going to fill out your intake and your paperwork. We're going to send you a test kit. You're going to do the test, send it back, and with about 2 weeks, you'll get your test results back and you'll get a link to book a consultation. You'll have that consultation where you'll talk about what your goals are, what your symptoms are. We'll explain what your levels are. We'll talk about what the plan is, and then you get your hormone cream shipped out to your door. We replenish them as needed, so you never run out. It depends on your doses. Some people get their hormones shipped monthly. Some people get their hormones shipped every 3 months. Some people get their hormones shipped every 6 months. It depends on what your dosage is and how much hormones you need. But we never let you run out, but you don't have to pay for any of the shipping or anything. And then we do testing every 3 to 4 months. Let's see, hormones are very low. Working with a practitioner, can you speak to progesterone sensitivity? Or is this type of reaction? I'm not sure if you're talking about reaction to a specific hormone formula, or if you're talking about reaction to progesterone in general. It's pretty uncommon, but it is a possibility. You will know if you have progesterone sensitivity because you would have had it even to your own progesterone. It could be that's something you want to talk to your practitioner about. What might cause weight gain or BHRT causing gallbladder issues? Oral BHRT can cause gallbladder issues because of the way it's processed. Topical hormones do not cause those issues. So oral hormones can cause, because they're processed through the liver, so they create metabolites, which can be harmful for different areas of your body, liver, gallbladder, things like that. So topical hormones take that away, so the estrogen patch or the estrogen cream will not have that issue. Why estrogen patch has side effect of reflux or heartburn? Not familiar with that. I know that a lot of people are sensitive to the adhesive in the patch, but I'm not familiar with it causing heartburn or reflux. So if you are on the estrogen patch and you are experiencing symptoms, just speak to your practitioner. Your practitioner should be able to help you with any of the issues that you're experiencing. It might be the wrong dose. Let's see. 74-year-old on bioidentical hormones, last 7 years, have ongoing vaginal and labial itch, started to glow below cream last month, still having itching. A1C is 4.9, low carb lifestyle. What might be the cause? You may want to just go get it checked out at the gynecologist and make sure that you don't have an infection of any kind. But if you've been having itching for 7 years, then I wouldn't expect it to get resolved in just a couple weeks. So just keep working, keep using the vaginal moisturizer, and it should resolve on its own. But if it doesn't, after a couple months, then you might need further treatment. So definitely don't be afraid to check with your practitioner, gynecologist, general practitioner, just let them know what's going on, because you shouldn't have to live that way. And you might just also want to check to see your detergents, your underwear, make sure that you're using cotton underwear, that you're not using any harsh chemicals in your clothing, your detergents, so these can all factor in. All right, you guys, I made it to the end of the Q&A. I think I got most of the questions in the chat as well, so it's been a fun time. If there's any questions I did not answer, please feel free to let me know. I'm definitely coming to my next Q&A in a couple of weeks. If you are watching the replay and you have a question, please pop that below and I will go through and read them all. And don't forget, Paxton the Prize Patrol will be reading the comments. Be sure to leave a comment for Paxton so we can pick you to win our prize. All right, you guys, thank you so much for being here. I hope this has been helpful. Just let me know if you guys like doing these, if you want me to cover specific topics in the future, or if you just like it being open format. I actually, as a woman, I think that I would really enjoy hearing other people's questions and the answers to them as well, because sometimes you don't know that you have the question or you don't have the problem yet, but it's going to come up in the future. And so the other people's questions could be so helpful. I'm in these types of Q&As for other topics, things I'm trying to learn, and I really enjoy them. So I hope you guys do too. I hope you like hanging out with me on Fridays and Saturdays, talking about hormones, because we don't go dancing or drinking. We just like to talk about hormones because we're a little bit geeky. That's okay, because you're my people and I love you guys. And whether you're in my programs or you're just watching from the sidelines, definitely continue to read my blog, continue to watch YouTube and like my channel, share it with other people. I'm trying to help as many women as possible. I really appreciate you guys, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.